A brand and innovation strategist, a creative leader, a technology marketer with 15 years of global experience in the internet and mobile space. That's how Ashley Benigno, Director Global Brand Strategy and Marketing Creation, Nokia, describes himself. Tara Kapoor caught up with the man himself to discuss Nokia's journey as a brand, Nokia's India plans, the ever-growing threat of competition, and everything in between. Take it away.
First of all, Ashley, it's a pleasure to have you on Brand Equity.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I wanted you to look at Nokia's journey, over the decades, in the sense that we've seen it be a really dominant force, especially in India. And you can't argue with the fact that over the years, competition has really eaten into Nokia's market share, and it has become a bit of a challenge. So
totally, that's what I was saying. I mean, it's grown like everything in a lifetime. There will be moments when there's more vision or energy to it. In those last few years when things were changing, probably there were a couple of things that were not done as well, or whatever that, or it was just that other players played differently. So, but the strength of Nokia is that it's never just been a one-trick pony. The kind of share that Asha gets to the market is not indifferent. Lumia again is starting to, kind of build up that third ecosystem where more people are using certain devices. So yeah, it's a company that has the vision and the strength again, I think, to re-come out on elements.
Sure, but how are you tackling? For instance, with the Lumia in the smartphone space, etc. Do you think it's a little late? And how are you tackling competition now? Because Samsung has already established itself, the iPhone has already established itself in the smartphone market.
But the smartphone market it's always been a very fluid and dynamic market. So if you look back to, say, some of the brands that were among the top brands in mobile 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you'll notice that, and you look at the names now, it's a very different situation. So you're right, Samsung's doing great things, Apple too, but this is an industry that changes. Even if anything, it is accelerating a lot in its change. So I think that gives what is true today may not necessarily be tomorrow, and that can be for good or for bad. And Nokia probably has been through both of those good and bad days, but this is why, to me, it was a reason actually to join Nokia, because of a belief in it that I could, be part of a journey again, to be pulling out something that would change things.
What do you see as the next big thing in the mobile space? What is going to be the game changer, in this space going forward?
Well, I think what we're going to see now that is changing elements is that there's a whole kind of new industry nearly that will be coming into play, which is based around wearables, or also the fact that you can then interact with your mobile with maybe some other forms of devices. So we're starting to see that around healthcare or with sports elements. And I think this is going to change the world quite radically, just like we saw tablets change it. The more and more we are moving away from what was, a world of PCs and laptops and a handset that was a support to mobile becoming very much the focal element. And as I said, new things that are coming out too. There's also around Internet of Things happening, so sensors that will be embedded in a lot of objects. And again, I think there's a lot of applications to those that can be, yes, around entertainment, but they can be around helping you get a real grip on, say, the pollution in a city, to monitor and to be more active with the life that you're living. So they're going to be, I think, definitely we're going to see in these next 5-6 years, I think, things that were not seen before.
What do you see as the 3 big challenges for marketing today?
So I think one of the big challenges is in fragmentation. So it is understanding more and more that it's no longer a question of saying running above the line and below the line, but now we bring in social that can straddle these two channels. It's how do you bring that social element to play? How do you use more experience in retail? So, and how do you then ensure that as you're speaking across all these channels, you manage to keep a consistent and coherent voice so that your brand remains strong and does not lose around what it's looking to do. Another challenge is obviously where we find that there is more and more that is being spoken to a consumer. So they have more and more messages that are reaching them. If before people would watch some television in the evening and maybe pick up a newspaper, now we are continuously immersed in media through our mobile devices, through the computers we may use at work or at school, through everything that's happening around us in experiential. So again, it's how do we look at ways that we can be communicating in a different way? How do you manage to go to that next level? And again, I think it's how do you keep that consistent and coherent with your brand without taking it into gimmicky space.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us on Brand Equity.
That's great. Thank you very much.